welcome to the Kim and Kalee show. This is episode 12, and we're going to be talking about travel today. So we kind of want to talk about planning your trip, what to expect when you get there, and then a little bit about our favorite places.
Yes. And by the way, that's Kalee.
I'm Kalee. That's Kim. I kind of forgot the intros this week.
That's okay. They know us by now.
Yeah. We're hoping that you've already subscribed, you've left us a review, and that way you know this is Kalee.
And this is Kim.
Yeah.
Apparently I talk softer.
So, yeah, probably. I'm a little bit of a loudmouth when I talk. But we wanted to kind of kick off. We've been traveling, I guess, for the past 5 years.
Yeah, with Beachbody, we've done a lot of traveling to different conferences and
cruises, retreats, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and then plus just what we did as a family. We'd always had a bucket list to go to New York at Christmas, so that was one of our trips.
Yeah, so it's become a tradition now.
Yeah, it has.
So we kind of wanted to dig in about how we plan for our trips. We've flown a lot, and
so we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
So we can help you with at least our personal preferences.
Yep. And then we'll also share just a little bit about what you can expect once you get to your destination, because we've had to learn a little bit there as well.
Yeah.
So planning your trip, the very first thing, this is something that I am really keen on doing.
Yes, she's the one that does this, and everybody else just follows suit.
Yeah, if they know it's good for because I got a little type A, a little anal here. But I like to look at the agenda if it's a business trip, and if it's not a business trip, I'm the one that likes to go ahead and look ahead and see, all right, well, we have this many days. I want to make sure that we at least hit this many spots or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to jump ahead because one of the things we like to do is to get a map of the city where we're going to be, and she'll ask the locals, or we'll do Google reviews, but you can ask on Facebook, you local people, what should we do? What do we got to do? And then she'll take a map down, and she can plot it out pretty well, so we're not wasting our time going from the south to the north, back over here to the southeast,
Yeah, it makes a big difference if you're traveling somewhere that's really compact, like New York City, but it still works for somewhere like where we're from, Nashville, because there's so many different areas, if you're in a very metropolitan place.
Yeah, because the traffic's so bad, you kind of want to know, well, I'd like to hit this part in, downtown or midtown, so it's nice to have that plotted out and know, where you're going, so. That she takes care of all that. She does the agenda if it's a business conference and knows where we're going, what time we're going. She has that all plotted out, which workshops we want to go to. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. She knows. And same thing with when we travel somewhere where we would like to go.
And I think maybe not so much for me and you, but Jake kind of get used to how I like to plan my trips because his nickname is Steady Breeze. So he's definitely go with the flow kind of guy. And then I come in with my map with the pinpoints. But I think even he will tell you that it saves time. You're not wasting, so much time in the car going, man, I really wish we had seen this place. So it can save some time. And it's not just, you still have free time.
Yes.
You stress less, like you said.
So much less stress once you know where you're going. And, the first time you go somewhere, it might be a buzz. But you live, learn, and move on. You just mark it off the list next time you want to go.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
This one gets me. And it's like, you people, you live in the internet age. You use it all the time. You're listening to us or you're watching us. When you go somewhere, use your phone, use your computer, and get the weather app for that city or the Weather Channel app, and check the weather so you'll know what to pack.
Right.
What is the weather going to be like for that week? Because I know when we go to California, it can be really hot during the day, you're stripping off clothes, and then at night it's cold. So
fire pit, sweatshirt kind of cold.
Yeah, it's definitely a layering type of city, or South California.
Yeah, ask around and see what the locals usually will wear too, because I know that our friends in California will get really excited when it's 85 degrees because it feels amazing. If it's 85 in Nashville, you can expect some humidity too.
Ooh,
so it might be smart to download the app, but also ask your friends if they live where you're going, because they can give you an idea. Same thing for New York. Something that's 35 degrees in Nashville feels a lot different than the winds blowing in New York City in between all those buildings.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold. So yeah, definitely ask your friends, get the weather app or whatever, and just check it. You know, you have all that at your fingertips. So
and just a little planning ahead of time will save you a lot of misery. You know, once you get there, we've went and bought hats and mittens and everything else in New York because we didn't realize how cold was.
Yeah, dummy me. I thought, well, and thank heavens for Jake. I thought, well, I'm used to 35 degrees here in Nashville. You know, I'm not going to take a coat.
He thought, no, you're crazy.
Yeah, and Jake's like me. He's like, I don't need a coat. But he's like, no, Kim, you got to take a coat. So thank goodness I did, because we ended up stopping even at H&M on this in Times Square and getting us all hats, all gloves. Yeah, it was cold. So
so don't underestimate the weather when you're planning. Even if you plan on being inside a lot, don't underestimate it. But if you are going for a business trip or a seminar or something, always pack a jacket, because they keep those rooms so cold. So I kind of plan like California with some layers. So I might have on a tank top or a t-shirt or something in the beginning, you know, so if it's hot, but then as I crank that air up, I'll have my jacket just in case.
Yeah, they keep it cold for the presenters because I guess the lights or whatnot. So it gets cold. Y'all, I mean, if you've not been to one, you'll learn.
It can get chilly.
Chilly.
So having that jacket's nice. The other thing that I think's really helped us with our traveling is that we like to get there a day early.
I love day early, and if possible, leave a day late, which I know not everybody can because you have to pay for extra hotel nights, both directions, but it's amazing.
Yeah, and if you're going for work or a seminar, maybe you can count it on your taxes and kind of budget it out that way. You could split the room with somebody, but definitely going a day early, leaving a day late makes a big difference because you can feel more rested once you get there. You have time to check out those hot spots that I like to plan so much. And then the other thing is that the traffic to the airport and all of that is a lot easier.
Yeah. When I know it's not a big deal with some of the smaller companies, but a lot of people who travel for work are traveling with big companies.
Yeah.
So a lot of people fly in. So if you get there with everybody and you leave with everybody, everybody's at the airport.
Yeah.
So you're having to wait, even if we're going to share another tip with you in just a minute, but even if you have the pre-TSA, you're still in lines and people and yeah, it's just better if you can to go a day before. That way you're all settled into your hotel room. Sometimes your conferences have early check-in. You can get to know the lay of everything,
and it sets you up with a more confident attitude, I think,
instead of being rushed.
Yeah, so that makes a huge difference for us and something that we really learn to appreciate and just spend the money there and then maybe budget, somewhere else to kind of cut back. Another way that we save money is with a certain kind of credit card. So we like American Express's Delta card because you can fly Delta with that one and you get points for everything that you buy, and we'll pay it off the same month, but it makes a big difference when we get to fly. And then I don't know how many free trips we've gotten on Southwest with the Chase card.
I love it, but you have to be careful. I know a bunch of our friends and followers are big Dave Ramsey fans, and he even warns about it. You're not supposed to have credit cards. You're not supposed to have credit cards. You have to be very diligent about treating it like cash. But if you are very responsible, you're going to pay off this bill at the end of the month or even when you get home from your trip. It's awesome. Like what she said, we've gone to California, I don't know how many times, on Southwest miles.
New York City, it's how we've been able to go because we kind of started that as, holy crap, we get to go to New York City at Christmas, and now it's like, oh, well, we'll just budget for the hotel, we get free airline points, we'll be good, and we just go. Yeah,
and the other one, we didn't mention it, we maybe need to add it, but Capital One, because it's just good because you earn points and you can use it on travel purchases like a taxi cab or a hotel. So that's another neat little where we've used points.
Yeah. So if you want to check out any of those three, we'll add links to those on kimandkalee.com. If you go kimandkalee.com/podcast/12, this is episode 12, you can find all of our notes. So you don't have to keep listening to us if you don't want to, but we hope you will. And you can also get all of those resources just right there for you.
All right. The other tip we learned
the hard way?
The hard way. And I know some people will disagree with this one, so just listen to me, okay? We had booked a trip from California back home that was going to leave earlier, but it had one layover, and it got home earlier than the later flight that left that got home at midnight. Like we were supposed to get home at 10 o'clock here in Nashville, but there was a nonstop that left, and it got home at, I don't know, later, whatever, midnight, whatever. Well, so we took the one with the layover. Well, let's just say the nonstop got home on time, and we were 1 day late and 3 planes later.
Yeah, we got stuck in Denver, and this was the year that Denver had the big flood, and we got stuck. It was hard to find a hotel room. We finally got a hotel room. We got to that. Then we had to, you know, hop on this other plane. We flew to Texas, and then we flew home. So it was a mess. Another reason to always make sure that you pack a good carry-on, because if you don't, you might end up in Denver and going, oh, maybe I should just wear these inside out. It's not a good thing. So we like to do a carry-on, but we'll talk about that in just a minute as well.
We lived and learned on that one as well. So I'll let you hit the next one.
Okay, so the next one we talked about was about planning your flight. So it might be the nonstop, but you also might want to think about your seat selection. We are Southwest girls like through and through because it's cheaper and we have a card, so we get those airline miles. But the thing is, sometimes you can get bumped, and this can happen on Southwest or Delta or wherever you're flying. But one way that you can help overcome that is if you're flying Delta or something like that, you're going to get an actual seat.
Yes.
And so it's harder.
Well, they still herd you in. It's
yeah,
like,
they do.
I forget what they like. Group A, Group B, and Group. Oh, it's still a herding process.
Yeah.
But you at least have a seat that you can book.
Right. With Southwest, you might upgrade to Business Select because you're going to be able to get on the plane first. You'll be like
first 15.
Yeah. So that can help you.
Plus, if you do Business Select, you get a drink for free, which, I mean, you're paying for Business Select, so you should get the drink. But
yeah, it's an expensive drink. But another perk of Business Select is that you'll get to pick out your seat, whether you want like a aisle seat or a window seat. And then you also are the first ones on the plane, so it's a little bit harder to bump you. Yeah, you get better overhead space. So if you're looking at it, it might be worth going with Southwest because it's cheaper, and then you can still upgrade to Select. I think it's like $50. That way, you're still probably getting a little bit cheaper than a Delta flight or something like that.
Right. The other thing we like to do, if we don't upgrade to Business Select, we'll do the early bird. And if both of us are traveling, only one has to purchase either the Business Select or the early bird.
This is only on Southwest.
Yeah, only on Southwest, because you only really need one of the two to get on early, because you can turn your bag a little certain way in the overhead compartment to save enough room for her bag. You can save a seat for the next, for the person getting on wherever y'all want. So that helps a little bit, save some money, but still get you on the plane first.
Definitely. And then the last tip that we have for planning your trip is to have a go bag, and not like a go bag like the world's ending, but like just hey, I'm going somewhere.
Well, I got it from if y'all watch Criminal Minds, they have a go bag so they can get on the airplane and go. Well, mine's not probably as complicated as theirs, but she's learned from me.
I have. It's definitely helpful, especially if you're traveling as much as we do.
It's awesome. Like, you can keep all of your liquids in your little quart-sized bag.
Right.
So I have like my toothpaste, my face wash,
razors,
deodorant,
chapstick.
All that stuff's in there. I keep y'all get them like when you get a new phone or whatever. It seems like we have cords everywhere, so I keep an extra little. I have an iPhone, so I keep the extra little square charger thing in my backpack. I keep an extra charge cord. I have a Mophie, which it's like that block or on your phone.
So a way to charge your battery.
Charge your battery.
For your phone or hook it up to your computer, but it's just an extra little battery pack.
Yeah, a battery pack's in there. Sometimes you can get those little sticks. I hope they can't see me.
Well, so we are also on the podcast.
Oh, sorry.
And we are videotaping this, so we do that each week. So if you ever want to see the video, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kim and Kalee.
Sorry.
But sometimes we forget that you can't see us if you're listening to us on the podcast. So the battery pack is about a 4x6 or smaller. And then you can just charge your phone or charge any kind of electronic for a little while. So that's one thing we keep. And then the other thing we keep is headphones.
Yeah, headphones. I have a nice pair of noise canceling ones I keep in there, but until I got those, I just kept the little earbuds. So I always keep those in there. Oh, and the other thing, that we learned from California to Denver to Nashville was keep an extra pair of underwear in your. Not that we needed it, but it was kind of gross. Like, oh, I wish I had really had an extra pair.
Yeah. So, especially if you're checking your bags, it's a must.
Yes. Just keep some extra underwear and some socks, and you'll be happy.
Extra t-shirts.
T-shirt. You feel just.
It just makes a difference, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of room.
No.
And we carry a carry-on and a backpack when we travel, so we never check anything, which saves us a little bit of money. It helps us get off the plane faster. We do, upgrade at some point, so we do have good overhead space.
Yeah.
But having that has really helped us be able to get in and off the plane faster. It helps us save a little bit of money, and it's just really convenient. So even if you're going, I gotta have a checked bag, girls, like I carry too much stuff. We roll all of our stuff. We plan ahead.
Yes.
And I really think if we can do it, pretty much anybody could do it.
I've gotten pretty good at packing that carry-on, and having one that's on rollers is essential because I can pack it so it's heavy.
Yeah.
So, and then you definitely, it's not worth checking something, not unless you're going to long distance like Hawaii or something. Just do carry-on, people.
Yeah, if it's a 5-7 day trip, something like that, then the carry-on is definitely worth looking at. We'll link to one of our favorite bags on kimandkalee.com with the podcast, and you can check it out. But anything that's going to allow you to have wheels is going to be huge because you are going to pack it heavy. Another thing about airlines, something that you actually, got us all excited about. And,
I mentioned it. I said I was going to talk about it in just a minute, but if you travel often, like she and I do, you need to invest in the pre-TSA
verification or code. But it's a way that you can go ahead and get your background checked. You can go ahead and show that you are a good little Samaritan and get this little pre-TSA check, so that way you can get on the plane a little bit easier and get through security a little faster.
Yeah, they have a whole different line for you. You don't have to take off your shoes. Well, they reserve the right to ask you to, but normally you can leave your shoes on. You don't have to dig out your liquids. You don't have to dig out your computer. You just go on through, and it's amazing. I will say in LaGuardia, is that how they say it?
I think so. You got the country girls talking.
Yeah, in New York City, they sometimes will have you pull out at least your liquids, but normally you get to keep your shoes on and your computer in your bag. So it's definitely
worth it. I think we paid about $80 for it, and it lasts 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
So I mean, if you're traveling throughout the year, it's definitely worth looking at. And we mentioned before that we don't ever check the bags, so the only line we're waiting through is security, which is really nice. So once we actually get on the plane, this is something that I had to learn, from my mama, of course. But she just kind of acts a little, like you might have that third person coming. So when we sit down on the plane, we will choose an aisle seat and a window seat.
I forgot about that little trick.
And maybe put a bag in the middle. Yeah. And it's not that we're antisocial, but we're both, 5'3", small people. And we always end up with like the hugest dude that wants to, to sit by us because, I got 2 little people.
It's like they scope us out. You can see it in their eyes. Like this big old football player, like dude.
Yeah. Ooh. It never fails. I had Morpheus from The Matrix sitting next to me on the way home from Vegas. So that's a long flight.
Yes.
And so we try to, we're not trying to be ugly, but we also would like to, keep at least our little space. So one thing that we do is that we will sit in the aisle to the window and then leave that middle seat, maybe with a backpack, because they will tell you that the flight's usually booked. But sometimes it's not. And then you look back and there's like 6 rows of seats that are empty and you're going, I just listened for no reason. So sometimes it's worth it. If somebody asks, of course, we're going to be polite and move it. But if you can, it's a nice little trick that we do. Another thing that we learned really quick, I think it was like it was actually our first flight out together. We were flying out to Orlando, and Mom and I both chose the window seat and the middle seat. So we were sitting there, and we had a nice lady sitting next to us, and she just didn't want to get off the plane. Her son was about 5 rows back, and so she just decided she was going to not leave that seat until her son got off. And the flight from here to Orlando isn't too bad. maybe 2 hours, but you kind of had some bathroom issues going on.
I had to pee. I just tell you right now, I was in misery because it hit me like, before, like people get up now, even though it says seatbelt and don't get up. We were not supposed to get up. We were landing, and I'm sitting there doing the jig. I thought, I don't cuss. I don't. And I thought I was just going to cuss that lady. If you don't move, I'm climbing over you, woman.
Yeah. And we had tried to be really nice,
Yes.
just like, could we go ahead and get out? Could you excuse us? We need to get off the plane. We had landed. Everybody else was getting off the plane. And she didn't say
She just
anything.
completely ignored us,
yeah.
acted like we weren't even in existence. It was so rude.
And miserable.
Miserable. Oh, it was most horrible feeling. So ever since then, I'm like, we're getting an aisle seat. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're getting an aisle seat.
Yeah.
We put a backpack in that middle, like she said, and
That's just how we roll.
it's how we roll. And sometimes I'm just like,
Yeah, one of our favorite taglines is, I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling so nauseous.
it's nauseous. Where's the airbag? Where's that? We're not the airbag. Where's that?
The paper bag.
Where's the paper bag? Trust me, that scares off a few people.
Yes.
So
we've kind of told you a little bit about how we plan once we get on the plane, and now we kind of wanted to go over just a couple tips about once you get there. The thing that we've learned about flying into California is to look and see where the Uber or the Lyft station is going to be, because a lot of the times they aren't labeled very well, so it's better to be on alert versus just kind of like following the
where
herd.
does it go? And I guess in California, the app will tell you where the Uber station is.
Yeah.
So that was nice. I researched it beforehand because that made me a little nervous. Like, where do we go? What do we do? So yeah, research that before you go and see if it is on the app. And then just follow the signs because they're pretty well,
And now that it's getting to be more popular too, it's gotten easier. Another thing to look for when you are in a big city, like when we fly into California, it's usually cheaper for us to do an Uber or a Lyft, but in New York City, we actually went at Christmas time. That's when we always like to go. And the taxis are actually cheaper because of the surge pricing on Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
So it's important to kind of look at it beforehand, maybe ask locals that you know which one is going to work the best. But that's just a couple transportation tips. Another thing that you can do to save money is if you're flying into a big city like Chicago or New York, you might look at like a train or a metro bus. So we did the L train in Chicago a few years ago.
Yeah, it was different. And we did the subway in New York City.
Yeah.
Which, the locals have it down pat. It was like this side of the street goes uptown, this side of the street goes downtown. We were like, I don't know what side of the street I'm on.
Yeah.
But I'm sure once you get, used to it, and you would get the subway system down in New York. The L train was really simple from the airport to where we were going.
Yeah.
And it was cheap, like $2 a person.
Mm-hmm.
So
you gotta, probably be careful on the L train now from what I've kind of gathered in the past.
Really?
Yeah, it's gotten kind of, Chicago's crime rate overall has went up.
All right,
so
I gotcha.
I would be concerned, so maybe research that as well. And, ask locals again, that can be
is
huge
it still
to help you.
safe?
But we did take it, and we had no problems. It was really nice, and it was a way to save money. The one thing I'll tell you that's not worth it is we did a super shuttle. We were going about 45 minutes away from the airport, and the super shuttle took probably 2.5 hours and several prayers to Jesus.
It was
to
horrible.
get us there.
We got suckered into it because when we left the airport to go to the hotel, when we first got there,
Right.
it was only 3 of us on there. So we went straight from the airport to the hotel.
Right.
And then when we left the hotel to come back to the airport, we will never, ever do that little blue van again.
No, it was terrible.
Horrible. Do not do it. It's not worth it.
No.
Sorry, guys. It's not.
You can find another way to save some money. If you're going for a business trip or a conference, kind of look and see what your downtime is and know what you want to do beforehand, so that way you're not being like peer pressured, like, hey, let's go do this, hey, let's brainstorm that, hey, I need to get your opinion on that. You already have plans, you already know kind of what you want to do, and that's going to keep you on track with whatever your priorities are.
Because, you're in that city maybe this one time, so if there was something that you want to see, make sure that you go see it, because you can brainstorm. There'll be more time throughout that conference for you to brainstorm. So have it plotted out, like she said, during your downtime. The other thing we learned, it was in California, I think. You can ask to upgrade your hotel room. You can we get in there a day early, so what I'm fixing to say is going to kind of negate it, but after everybody's kind of checked in, you can go in and see if there's any other rooms still available.
Right.
And we've gotten, from the bottom floor, we've moved up, which is normally quieter, because if you're on the first floor, I know a lot of people like it, because you don't have to worry about the elevator, you don't have to worry about the stairs. But what you have to worry about, especially in a business conference, I know none of y'all do this, but there seems to be a little people that like to stay at the bar a little late, and then they come back to their room, and they're a little louder than what they think. And so they're bouncing around above your head. So we like to get...
Yeah, the top room is usually the best.
Yeah,
So
the penthouse, baby.
Yeah. You know, even if it's in a Hampton. Yeah, no shame in our game.
No. By the way, in New York City, that's one of the better places to stay if you're wanting to go to Broadway.
Yeah, so the Times Square one, there's two, so make sure you choose the Times Square one.
Hampton.
Yeah, but it's a good price, it's a good location, big rooms, very nice.
And they've remodeled it.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty nice. The other thing, the last tip that we have is to never ever charge to your room. Never ever ever. We've had problems with this twice. We thought the first time, okay, things happen, and then the second time we were overcharged. We just said we're never doing this again, because even if you have all of your receipts right there and you can show this is what I've charged to my room, all they have to say is, well, maybe you misplaced that receipt.
yeah. So you just can't dispute it. Well, you got 3 glasses of wine. No, only got 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't even go to the bar that night. So
yeah, there's no way to really show.
I'll give. Well, it was still a hassle, but I had to go back through American Express, and eventually, after disputing, I got it off the.
Yeah, but how many people are going to do that? How many people are going to look at their invoice?
Yeah.
How many people are going to actually go through their credit card? So they're probably making a lot of money just by adding in that extra glass of wine.
Yeah. In fact, here's another tip. When you are checking out, if you've charged something to your room, even after we've said don't do it, look at what they've charged to your room, because that's how we spotted that one. Like, a lot of times, people are just like, okay, whatever, that looks about right, because a glass of wine, I think, was $14.
Yeah.
So $14, and you got your hotel bill, so you don't even really think about it. So I went through and looked, and I'm like, no, I didn't even go here that night.
Yeah.
So make sure to look at your bill.
Totally. Another thing I was going to mention, if you have reserved a room like at a resort, like we just got back from Hilton Head and it was a resort, make sure that you get everything that was promised to you when you reserved the room, because a lot of the times they'll give you like 20% off the reservation and then like $100 to their restaurants. And, sometimes they'll just accidentally forget to put in that gift card because it's just, they have a lot of people checking in. So always make sure that you have your paperwork ready to go when you arrive somewhere, because that can make a big difference as well when you're just kind of wanting to get in and done and out. Having that stuff prepped and beforehand makes a difference.
Yeah, and knowing what to expect when you get there.
Yeah.
So
now we kind of wanted to end, because this was kind of a dry topic, with your lovely entertainment, of course, so it wasn't so dry. But we wanted to end with some of our favorite places that we've been to. So you want to save New York City for the end, since we have so many places we like?
Yeah, we'll save it to the end.
Okay.
Let's see, I've got to scroll down. One of our favorite places, which we're lucky enough we don't have to fly to, is Orange Beach, Alabama.
Yes.
If you go,
so nice.
oh yeah, it's perfect for me. We grew up going to Panama City, and nothing wrong with Panama City. It's very good for those families with kids, and you want to go play putt-putt and whatever.
Very commercial.
Yes, very things to do. But Orange Beach, it's just a beach.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
Condo, there's a Publix. Now here we are telling everybody.
I know, don't go to Orange Beach.
No,
it's terrible.
Bad.
Yeah, it's not quiet at all.
It's bad.
Nothing to do. There really isn't anything to do.
There really is. No, you have to go down the street to Gulf Shores. No joke.
Yeah.
But I would go, if you're going to listen to our advice here on this one, I guess I'll tell them, but if you have the freedom, go during the off season, because just like any beach during the peak season, it's going to be crowded.
Yeah, I think you could say that about anywhere.
Yeah.
New York has done a really good job, I feel like, accommodating for the crowds, like at Christmas and New Year's, stuff like that. But the beaches, I just don't feel like there's ever like a quiet time if you go during peak season. I will say Hilton Head was a lot quieter than somewhere in the Gulf. And then you can also go to Vegas because if you go in the summer, that's off season for Vegas.
Yes, because it's hot as Hades, but you're going to be inside anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, I mentioned one of our favorites. It's your turn.
So one of our other favorite places that we've been just once, but it was really neat, was Greece. We took a cruise, and it was neat because you get to go to the different islands. So you weren't just stuck in one place in Greece. You got to actually go out to the other islands, and you weren't on like a little like hopper plane or a little boat that was making you seasick. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Mediterranean, I don't know if it's always like this, but when we went, the Mediterranean was like glass. So there was no getting seasick really.
No.
It was just smooth. It was good. I'm really not a cruise person, but for Kalee and me, it was a safer way for us to travel alone, and because you had a tour guide, and we had never been there before. So I know a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna rent a car and blah blah blah. This was our first big trip
by ourselves,
and overseas.
This was 10 years ago. So you had a 18-year-old and a mother that went with her.
So the other thing I was going to say about Greece, though, they were like, just wait and get some currency when you get there because it'll be cheaper. The currency exchange.
Right. Never do it at the airport.
Never do it at the airport.
It's too much.
Too much. So anyway, I didn't have a euro or whatever they had.
Yeah,
euro. I didn't have anything on me. And it was a long trip, so we had checked baggage, and it was heavy, and you had to put a daggum euro in the buggy thing for your luggage.
Yeah. So here we were, the Americans that you always hear about, not being prepared, and a nice, sort of frustrated lady put a euro in for our cart.
You're being generous, Connor. Nice. Yeah. She was just getting us out of the way.
Yeah,
we
she
were
really
in the way.
was. Yeah.
Oh, you can't see me, but just imagine a very irritated little woman.
Yeah. Probably saying you're stupid in Greek.
Yes, she was. There was no...
Yeah, there was no sorta. She was.
She was.
And then we saved our favorite places in New York City for last because we have several favorite places. And before we ever went, I guess this is like our 4th or 5th year going. We've been several times now. We still go to the touristy places because we just like them. But we thought they would be really mean and everything would be really expensive. But it was really comparable to any time we go out on a trip, like food-wise, price-wise. And everybody was really friendly. The last time we went, there was a little bit more agitation. The Arctic blast had come through.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody was really nice. And that's saying something because we're from Nashville and everybody's like super nice and there's a Hello Kitty stamped on everything.
Yeah, we were expecting them just to be mean.
Mm-hmm.
No, we walked out of the very first trip, we walked out of the hotel lobby and we're sitting there looking at our map,
like you're not supposed to do.
Stamp tourist on your head, and people stopped. Where are you looking to go?
Yeah.
And they were New Yorkers. You could tell they were New Yorkers,
yeah.
The way they talked. So, but anyway, one of my favorite places in New York is, and we saw this on one of the TV shows. Was it Kathy Leonota?
I think so. We made a list from that.
Yeah, it was when that cute little girl was on it.
Yeah, Sarah.
All right, anyway. She went to all these different pizza places, so we made a list of the ones that she liked the best, and one of them was Lombardi's.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the first pizza place in New York City,
and some people will tell you it's overrated, don't do it, but I mean, it's pizza. Like, pizza's not overrated, just go. It's not more expensive, it's not really super crowdy, even during the Christmas time. It's worth just checking out.
Like, yeah, and Little Italy is like right close, and if you dare to brave it, Chinatown's kind of close. It's all kind of walk-in.
Yeah.
Or a little short subway trip. So it's worth it, and you get to go to the one that's supposed to be the first pizza place in New York City.
Now, if you're staying on the Times Square side of things and you want to stay more like on that side, maybe you're just venturing to like Rockefeller and that's it, you can check out John's Pizza because it's another unique place. It's in an old church. It's just right in the middle of like the same street or whatever. But it's just a big church, and it's really neat. They have stained glass windows, and it's
ceiling's
good.
Pretty.
It's just good pizza.
Yeah, it's good pizza. Don't ask for anything special though, because they're insulted if you ask for like extra cheese or extra sauce. Or
you gotta eat it how John would eat it.
Yes. So we made the mistake once, and it just ruined our pizza. So don't do that.
No, but it's good, and they're also open late. I never thought that New York would like roll up the streets.
Oh my gosh!
But they do, at least in like the Times Square area and Rockefeller Center, that kind of place, Manhattan. It kind of rolls up early.
Yeah.
Something else that was really fun that Jake and I did last year was the Plaza, and we went to the Champagne Bar, and that was really neat. So if you've ever like been in love with the Plaza, Sopranos, that kind of thing, definitely check it out. And then we ate at Quality Meats after, which was a steakhouse, which is really
disgusting.
Neat. It does sound gross. I thought it was called the Meat House at first, and I had to look it back up. Quality Meats. It's expensive. So
I'm going to say before we mention the other restaurant that we like, while you're there at the Plaza, right across the street is Central Park.
Yeah.
Well, Central Park's like 5 acres, so part of Central Park right across the street. But that's where the horse and buggies are.
Yeah.
Or horse and carriage. So definitely recommend that. I would do the long trip if you're into like trivia and stuff, and you get a good driver, because they'll point out certain things that are in different movies and where actors and actresses live and musicians. So
yeah, make sure if you're going to do a carriage ride to walk up to the man with the carriage, because a lot of the times people will kind of scam right there and they'll sell you a bike when you think you're getting a horse. So make sure that you walk up to them. They can usually take card or check, and it's a flat rate, so they shouldn't be charging any more than any of the other carriages.
Right, you can't like really barter where you might could with something else. It's just flat. The other place, it's in Union Square.
Yeah.
That's a neat little place. We found it by accident really our first year when we went. Max Brenner. It is a chain restaurant, but I don't know how many there are. There aren't many around.
I think there's only 3 or 4.
That is
the country.
It is a really cool place. They're known for their chocolate, so like hot chocolate, fondue. But I always get their macaroni and cheese with bacon. And then Kalee, you can tell them about the dessert that.
Oh yeah, we just got hot chocolate.
Okay.
So they have different. You can get white, milk, or dark. The white was my favorite. The milk was like kind of like a pudding, but the white was thinner, so I liked that just because it's hot chocolate. I want to be able to drink it, not spoon it.
They have a great chocolate martini too. I mean, this place is known for their chocolate. When we went with Jay and Pookie, we got the fondue. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
So that was really good. We got the yin and yang, so it was the white and the dark.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you have to go there. It's really cool, and they have little booths set up at Christmas, so you can do a little shopping, little tents out in the square.
I think it's Washington Park's right around the corner too, so you can, if you've ever watched Friends and you see that big arch, or Harry Met Sally with the big arch, that's in Washington Park, so it's really easy to go see if you are like into the trivia thing.
I didn't see that. Arc de Triomphe or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really close to Max Brenner. The other place that we always go is Rockefeller, so we got to go see the tree because, again, we're very big tourists.
Yes, and that was something we learned on the trip with Jay and Pookie. But those are friends of ours. It was so funny because they wanted to see it wasn't funny because it was like our last night there. Wanted to see the tree, but we've been busy all day long going to one of our other places we're going to name. And I remember they wanted a hot dog from one of the street vendors. I mean, you get a hot dog while you're in New York. Turned around, bought the hot dog, and was going to turn around and look at the tree. Click, it went off.
So just keep in mind that they do turn the tree off.
Yes, the tree gets turned off around, it was early, but I think like 11 or midnight.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 11 or 12.
Yeah, so just research it. You can Google it. We didn't know. We just thought it was on all night.
Yeah. So definitely something to look at. And then the last place that we'll recommend is the Freedom Tower area.
Yeah.
It's really,
The 9/11 Memorial. You have to be prepared mentally. Like, it's a hard trip if you go down into the memorial. Kalee hadn't been to that before, but it's tough. So, but I do recommend, even if you don't go into the museum part, you see the fountains and you go up in the Freedom Tower. 'Cause up there you can see around the whole city. You can see the Statue of Liberty. Oh, that was something else really cool. Like, we went from New York City to Hoboken. Is that how you say it?
Hoboken?
Yeah, New Jersey. So we went in the tunnel, which I think there's many tunnels, but you go underneath the river, the Hudson, I think. Yeah, the Hudson River. And that scared me because you're like, you're underwater, and it's 2 lanes. There's no turning lane. There's no. It's scary. I'm just like, we got to get out of here. And then we took the ferry,
It's a ferry.
It's a ferry, but there weren't any cars on it. But we took the ferry from Hoboken to right over there in the Wall Street area where the Freedom Towers were. It was cool. And it was only like $5 a person.
See, you can find affordable things in New York. That's really neat. Those are kind of our tips for traveling. So we talked about, like what to do before you go, what you can do on the plane, and then some favorite places once you get there. We'd love for you to leave us a review and also subscribe to our podcast. You can find the link to subscribe if you're watching this live video in the description, or if you're listening to us right now, all you gotta do is click that subscribe button and leave us a nice review.
Please. And also, I've been getting like tips from people by text while we've been podcasting. Tell them this, tell them that. So I hated to, break our chain of conversation. So if you have a tip that we didn't share, add it to the comments, put it in the review, let people know what your tip is.
Yeah, exactly. And our favorite tips will end up going on the blog post. So if you ever want to recap what we talked about, you can go to kimandkalee.com/podcast/12, because this is episode 12. And that's how you'll be able to find it. So until next week, hope you have a good one.
Yep. Be good, guys.
All right. We're here. Yep, we're here. And since y'all watching the live one, I can tell you my armpits are sweating and we got to go downstairs because I'm hungry.
We're starving.
We're starving. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.